Hey everyone, this is Mr. LaCour. We're going to go over regular polygons today. Okay, so before we actually start doing stuff with them, let's kind of go over what that means, what a regular polygon is. So, a regular polygon, regular means everything is the same. So, same lengths when we're talking about a length of the polygons, okay? And on a length of a polygon has the word poly in it, okay? Poly means many, so it is a shape, a gon is type of a shape, okay? Many sides, okay? Alright, so a regular polygon means it is a shape that has all the sides that are equal to each other, okay? So a polygon is just a fancy word for shape, okay? So a shape could be a triangle, right? And what would make that triangle special, what would make that triangle special is if all the sides on it were the same. Now, I know I didn't draw it quite to scale, but don't ever trust a picture. Go with what it says. Okay, so if this side's 7 and I know it's a regular polygon, I know that my other two sides are 7. Alright, and if I have a square, so a square is a regular polygon because we know that one side, if one side is 4, I know that all the other sides are 4 as well. Okay, so all it just means is that all the side lengths are the same distance, and depending on the type of shape we're dealing with, it has different amounts of sides. Okay? Alright, so before we actually start doing the math with this, let's go over some names. Okay, so triangle has 3 sides, we can identify that. Square has 4 sides, we can identify that. Those are ones that we've seen a lot. Now, I want to talk about a pentagon. A pentagon has 5 sides, okay? If you ever think of the FBI building, it's called the Pentagon. You want to know why? Because it's a building that's in the shape of a pentagon, okay? And next, we have a hexagon. Okay, hex has the letter X in it. What other number has the letter X in it? 6. So that's the way that I always remembered that. Alright, so if I want to draw, sorry for all the notifications there, you guys. Alright, so a hexagon looks something like that. Okay. Heptagon, 7. And then an octagon, 8. Okay, now I'm not going to draw those, they get a little harder. Alright, but we will be able to identify them as we go on, okay? Alright, and you won't have to be drawing these shapes. Well, you might have to if you're taking notes. But in our practice, you should not have to be drawing the shapes. You can just work on the assignments right there. So let's go into some practice examples. I have some examples here, 1, 2, 3, and 4. They're all different shapes, okay? Now, we haven't found the formula to find the area of these shapes. Okay, so I want to give you guys that here real quick. So to find the area of a regular polygon, that formula is A stands for area, 1/2 times little a times P. Alright, So we're about to talk about some new words here. That big A stands for area. That little a stands for a new word, apothem. Okay, and I'll tell you what that is here in just a minute. And that P stands for perimeter. Okay, and you guys have all those words are very familiar. You should know what they mean. If you don't, then go ahead and look them up, and I'll explain them as we keep on going as well. All right, so area, it's the space inside the shapes. All right, the perimeter is the distance around, and the apothem, this guy, kind of sounds like a possum, but it's apothem. Think if you say it with a lisp. Okay, so the apothem is almost like a radius, but it's not. Okay, so in example 1, see this dot in the center and the line that goes to the edge. That is the apothem. Okay, next we need the perimeter. Okay, well, I was already given the apothem. It's 4 centimeters. So what I like to do to show my work is kind of have my variables off to the side that I need. So my apothem is equal to 4, and my perimeter is not equal to 10. Okay, that's just the length of one of these sides. And we said that all the regular polygons have the same distance around on each side. So I know the rest of these sides are 10. Okay, so if all those sides are 10, then I have the distance 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 10 plus 10. Okay, and if I add them all up, we get a total of 60. Now, that gets annoying, having to write them all out, add them all up, and do all that. There's an easier way to find the perimeter of these shapes, since we know that all the sides are the same length. Okay, I can go and count the sides. So I counted on that shape, I have 6 sides, and I can multiply that by the length of one of those sides, which is 10, right? Because that was given to me, and I know that is 60. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my formula. So my area equals 1/2 times my apothem, which is 4, times my perimeter, which is 60. Okay, so when I multiply all that together into my calculator, we should get an area of 120 centimeters squared. Okay, don't forget your units. Okay, not too difficult with the formula as long as you can identify these parts. Okay, alright, so the next one. Alright, so number 2, my A, my P, I like to figure out what those are. Alright, in this problem, my apothem is 4.5, so I'm going to write 4.5 here. And my perimeter, okay, instead of adding up all the sides, writing them all out and doing all that, I'm going to count how many sides I have, then I'm going to multiply that times the length of one of those sides. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sides. It's an 8-sided figure eight, so it's an octagon. So I have 8 times the length of one of the sides, which is 9, which equals 72. Okay, so my perimeter is 72. So I'm going to take that and plug it into my formula. A equals 1/2 times 4.5 times 72. Now I don't know about you, but I can't do that in my head. So I'm going to pull up my calculator. Whoops. Alright, so 1/2, also known as 0.5, times 4.5 times 72. So my area here is 162 inches squared. Okay, easy so far. Alright, I'm going to move my calculator over. Zoom in on number 3. Okay, number 3, my apothem is 5. So my A is 5. My perimeter, well, I need to figure out how many sides I have. I see that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sides. So it's 5 times 8, which is 40. So I know my perimeter is 40. So I plug it into my formula. A equals 1/2 times 5 times 40. Okay. So I go into my calculator. 1/2 times 5. Oops. Times 5 times 40, which gives me 100. So my A equals 100 feet squared. Okay, I have one more problem for you guys, and then this one's a little tricky. Alright, so if you ever come across a problem like this, don't let it freak you out, okay? The only reason why it's tricky is because all I'm given here is an apothem. Right there. And it's 5. They didn't give me a length of the sides. But I do know that it's what shape? A square. Okay? So the apothem was from the center of the shape down to the side. Well, what if I continue that line going up? Alright? Well, that apothem would also be 5. So my total distance from top to bottom. So I would just find out what that distance is by adding those two up, and I would get a total of 10. So now I know what my side lengths are, and I can figure out what my perimeter is. So my A is 5. My P, well, if that side's 10, this is 10, this is 10, this is 10, and so that gives me 40. Alright, hey, this is looking kind of familiar. I'm going to have A times 1/2 times 5 times 40. Well, we did a problem that already had that, didn't it? Alright, and that area is 100, in this case, centimeters squared. Okay, that's it for you guys. That's how we find the area of a regular polygon. If you have any questions, feel free to message me. We'll be going over this in our live session as well. Hope you guys have a great day. See you, love you, bye.